Welcome to this in-depth tutorial on relinking FX using FCPXManager. We will start with a working project. Turn it into a broken project. And then, use FCPXManager to relink the project with two methods. Apply modification to the XML project. And re-importing the patched project. Or automatically create links to use the project as is. I have built a small project with different type of FX. We have movie effects, titles, and transitions. A compound clip with a matrix effect generator, then more titles and transitions. You will notice that the start and end transitions are built-in fading effects. All the FX used in this project are coming from a special folder where I have copied some FX from different sources. I will delete it later to simulate a change, like if project was done on a different computer. We are now going to export this project as XML in order to open it in FCPXManager. Of course, if project was already broken, we could still export it as XML the same way. We are now launching FCPXManager just to check how it will see our project, which is not broken yet. Of course, we can see the special folder from the library, also in FCPXManager. There is one special folder in each categories, effects, titles, generators, and transitions. Let's now run the XML analyzer on our previously exported XML. FCPXManager will look at all the FX and will match them with your library. And it will also look for potential matches with other effects having same names. Here, as nothing is broken, we need to either click on No Change, or just select All, in order to see FX that are not broken. In order to have all details, we can open the text report. It will show findings, and also potential matches. We can also just browse through the analyzer list. The OK direct means that it is a direct match. Native is for the built-ins effect. Except one which is missing here, the fading transition, called cross dissolve. That is not coded as an FX in the XML. Clicking on each XML FX on the top list, you can then see below it, the current FX associated in your library, and also other potential matches. Notice that our special folder is the current FX used in the XML, but FCPXManager found another match for each one. Because I have copied existing FX in the special folder for the demo. Now, let's delete all special folders, which will result in breaking all FX used in our FCPX project. We need to delete each folder in each category, effects, generators, titles, and transitions. We can use FCPXManager to open each folder in Finder, but we cannot use the Delete FX menu from FCPXManager, as FX are protected to avoid mistakes. So, each folder needs to be deleted directly from the Finder. When everything is deleted, we need to reload information from disk to update FCPXManager. As FCPXManager cannot find any more of those deleted FX on disk, they show up in the Not Found category. We can safely delete all of them here. Now, let's rerun the Analyzer tool from FCPXManager. Using our broken project. You can notice that now all FX show up as broken, and FCPXManager already relinked virtually all of them to a target, but nothing is applied for real yet. We will look at that later. Now, let's go back to FCPX. We need to reopen our library to force a refresh. And our project will effectively be completely broken. All, but the native FX, and the portion of footage with no FX. So, let's fix this in FCPXManager. Using the XML Analyzer window, we will fix our XML project. When we select an FX on the XML top list, we can see in the list below that we don't have any more current FX attached, as the XML is now broken. But, we still have a match. That is even linkable. We will look at the linking option later. For now, we will just fix the XML. If we had multiple choices, the step 1 would have been to select one of the possible matches in the middle list. And then click the Relink from Target button. But here, the fix was automatic, as there is only one possible choice. You can jump to the Relinked FX in the main window tree, with the Go to Relink button. But you cannot jump to the FX as it is currently broken. The Go to Target FX button will jump to the FX selected in the middle list, which in this case is the same as the Relinked FX. The details on the paths for the selected match for a relink is shown below. This matching pair can be added to the helpers list on the bottom part of the window. The helpers may be used when you often relink the same FX paths, and when there is several options possible in the middle list. Therefore, automatic fix cannot work. The helpers use is optional. It will just save you the time of manually select the desired match. So, here, our step 2 is now only to apply the relink, either with a link or by patching the XML. For now, we will just apply to the XML. We will look at the link creation option later. As you can see, the XML FX is now fixed. The line will stay in the list until you change the filter or refresh the list content. Let's now apply the fix to all the other ones too. The patch of the XML is done in memory when we click apply. Nothing is really done to the real XML. That's why we have a last step 3 is to save the XML changes. By default, a new XML file is created to keep the original version. We can now go back to FCPX. And from the event where we have our broken project, we re-import the relinked XML file from FCPXManager. We will not replace the existing project to be able to compare both, so we chose option, keep both. We now have a newly created project during import. Notice that we also have a new compound clip. Let's open the new project. Everything is now working fine, no more broken effect. The project is now playing as expected, using the new location for the FX patched in the XML file by FCPXManager. While the original project is still broken, as in this one, the FX are still pointing to the deleted folder. We will now see how to relink, without the need to re-import the XML file. For that, we need to reopen FCPXManager, and restart the analyzer process, from the original broken XML file. We will then create links, instead of patching the XML. In some cases, the create a link button will not work. This means that you have a conflict with an existing FX, or another link, in the destination path. Here we have only one possible link. If several are possible, by default FCPXManager will propose the best one, which can apply to more cases. But anyhow, the box will show you all the possible options. This generally happens when FX have several subfolders with categories. This is exactly the case for this next one, Object Timer 4. We could create a link to Object Timers category, or directly to the FX, Object Timer 4. Using the top level path, Object Timers, we'll avoid creating a link for each individual FX, if we have several to relink under the same category. Wait a minute. You may ask, why not even on the top level, FCPX Timer folder? Well, this is a good idea, but FCPXManager does not see the same folder name, so will not propose it. Nevertheless, you can manually create the link from the main interface tree using copy path and paste as link from the menu. But here, we just keep the proposed choice. It is more straightforward. We continue to create our links, but for this next one, we have 2 of them from the same subfolder. Not easy to see, as folder name are coded. But no issue. FCPXManager will handle it. Just select the default link creation option. It will be at the top level, so we'll cover both subfolders. Notice that one link creation resolved 2 issues. We continue to create links, until no more FX are broken. Link creation need to be done one by one. You cannot select multiple FX to create multiple links. The good news is that links are not project dependent. They will work for any project concerned. Note that using links makes the workflow easier. In particular, if you often exchange project between computers, having FX stored in different folder names. Links will just make it work. We can close the analyzer. No need to save the XML as we did not patch it. On the main interface tree, we can see the new folder of FX created with all the links inside. If you select a link, the destination is displayed in the information zone. And you have a special button that will allow you to jump directly to the link destination, if not broken. The same button can be used to go back to the link pointing to this FX. When save is done, let's see what happened in FCPX. We don't need to import the XML, as links will just work. This can be useful when FX at drop zone, as FCPX, for any reason, is not saving drop zone data in the XML file. You can still see the red broken icons, as FCPX did not yet refresh data, so let's close and reopen the library. Now, without any modification to the project, everything works perfectly. For information, for now we can still see the special folder in the browser as we did not quit FCPX. Everything is broken except where links are created. But when FCPX will restart, the browser will not display any FX behind links, they will still work on your existing projects, and you can copy-paste them, but will not show up in the browser. Now, in FCPXManager, let's disable completely the FCPX timer folder. As we know, one of those FX inside is used in our demo project. And we relaunch the analyzer, to see what happened to our projects. Starting with the relinked one. No surprise, the analyzer tells us it will not work anymore, and the proposed fix is of course only, to enable it. We will not do it. And instead relaunch a new analyzer, this time on the original project, that remember, is not broken anymore, as we have created links. The analyzer tells us there is no issue. Why? As we know one FX is disabled. Let's look at the details on this object timer 4, the link seems to be okay. Effectively, FCPXManager is smart enough to detect that we have a link to a disabled FX, and will automatically correct the link to point to the right place, when we save changes to disk. So we save our changes to the library, and when the save is finished we can check the result in FCPX. As expected, it works perfectly, as the link corrected by FCPXManager is not broken. And what about the Relink project? Of course this one is broken, as it points directly to an FX that we have disabled. We already saw we can use the analyzer, to fix disabled FX used in a project. Like we will fix any broken FX. But we will not. And I will show you another way to enable or disable FX used for a particular project. We just need to load a group from the XML file, using load FCPXML button. This will create a new group with all FX used in the project. We can use the arrow button to highlight the associated FX in the tree, but the list of FX can be pretty long if not filtered. To easily focus on all the FX of this project, we can filter the tree, using the group name. Now we only have those FX in the project. The disabled one is identifiable, and switching to the group enabling mode, we can, in one click, either enable or disable all FX from this group. This will end this in-depth tutorial on relinking FX with FCPXManager. Thanks for watching, I hope this helped you. And don't forget to subscribe to the YouTube channel in order to receive notification on new tutorials.